Quest really started as a kind of little lockdown project for Community Land Scotland, and it's really developed well. We're really delighted by how well the pilots have gone in the schools and how the schools have embraced the whole project. The idea is that it's a kind of fun way for children to work their way through a community buyout. So it's an online resource that kids can go on and they can have discussions about what is community, think about business ideas, and then work their way through pretty much the process a community would be going through in a buyout. So by the end of it, they've made decisions about what kind of businesses they want to develop, what the community thinks about their idea. So it's really similar in a lot of ways to an actual community buyout. I think the developer's whole idea of making it a game was really a stroke of genius, just to make it far more interesting. So there's many elements of the Quest that seem really game-like for children.
We were put in contact with Community Land Scotland, who said they were piloting the Quest, and when they presented their idea to us, there was a lot of connections with what's happened in North Harris, so it just seemed like an opportunity to work together to provide a really good introduction for the children into the land and land ownership and what it could mean for them.
I like the Quest because we got to work with different people and learn more about them.
I like the Quest because we got to meet new people along the way.
It was really interesting to learn about things that relate to where we live.
And we also got to go around some of the places we were looking at, the wind turbines we got to look at and see how they worked and stuff.
But I guess from a teacher's perspective, when someone comes to you with an idea and then says, we'll do all the legwork, that's brilliant. That's a really good start point. The structure of the Quest resource is really helpful for allowing discussion points. It's set up so that you go through small chunks, introducing the estate and then considering what options you have, and then doing a sort of business approach to the different proposals that are part of it. So at each stage, it's possible to stop and have a discussion in the class about some of the concepts. For example, hydroelectric power comes up, so you can talk about what hydro is, how it works, why it might be suitable in one place and not another. Same with affordable housing. So yeah, it's a really nicely structured resource.
When we got education experts on board, they suggested actually giving the children almost like a real lived experience of community ownership. And community ownership has got many stages in the process. So breaking it down so children could go through basically the same stages anyone would go through in a community buyout, where you've got to learn a lot at each different stage and make different types of decisions at each stage. So I think the way that the developers we brought on board have developed the resource has been really creative and seems to work really, really well in practice.
There's some really positive stuff happening in Harris. So we obviously have the North Harris Trust, the West Harris Trust. There's been a community buyout of the old primary school building in Leverburgh, which is a really positive step for them. And they're able to put forward ideas like that. At the moment, there's a charity shop, cafe, gym. And so getting across that idea that you can sort of self-help, you can do this for yourself, that you can take control of your local area and make positive change is great. We have role models in the community, but it's really nice for the children to tie that in with actually, here's a formal structure for how this works.
If you ask a lot of community landowners what's most important to them, they would all say young people and the future of their area and encouraging young people to stay there and make a life there, and ideally come and work for the community landowner. So young people having a really good grip of what's happening around them is really important.
As they went through the Quest, they had to collate a lot of information and then present it back to the class. So by the very end, they were well versed in their material, but they then had to present it to the whole class, which was quite a big step. And they did it confidently in the end. It was really nice to see.
It was really impressive how much they thought through some of the big issues, and they were able to come out with what were very impressive business plans at the end of the process.
I think it's great that the children are getting an opportunity to learn about and start to engage with it. It's about community building and some of the stuff that they see going on in their own communities. In West Harris and in Leverburgh have been really good examples of how they can take forward their own views and ideas for the community. So to be able to tie it in with their Quest and sort of begin to understand how they might take community land ownership forward in the future is a really nice thing to be part of.
The Quest was really developed with rural communities in mind. That's where the whole idea really came from. But as we've been talking about it more to community landowners, a message we've heard really clearly is that community landowners in towns and cities are also really keen to have a similar tool. So that's going to be our project for 2022, is to develop an urban version focusing more on urban assets. So that's going to be really exciting as well.